you never heard of. Hey everybody, welcome to the Common Folk Podcast with Ben, Morgan, and Andy.
All right, welcome back to Common Folk.
The Common Folk Podcast.
Here we are again.
For the people, we the people.
By the people, for the people, we the people.
All the people.
All the people, all the people.
Yep.
Well,
Sure.
what's been new with you lately, Andy?
It's
been a minute.
Yeah, just getting ready for our summer sports, getting into the baseball swing of things.
Are you calling games?
Yeah.
Or you don't call it that. Do you say calling since
I
you're
do.
announcing?
I do. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll be calling the game. But yeah, I get it. You could be like an umpire.
Yes,
official
that's what I was
calling the
thinking.
game. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, I'll be on the broadcast starting next week. It's our Thursday afternoon, Thursday night baseball that we've done last 2 or 3 years. So
Okay.
pretty cool.
Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We went last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
It was fun.
You guys are
Is it the Corn Belt League still?
Yep, Corn
Yeah.
Belt League, and the Filth Ballers are defending 2-time champs,
Nice.
but they got a new coach.
New coach.
Yep, Johnston Hobbs
gone.
in there. Yep, he gone.
Here you go. Ben, it's new with you.
Hmm.
Busy work week. Actually, it was a short week with Monday off.
Yep, our Memorial Day week. Short week, but
This
that
weekend's
just means
busy.
more work.
Yeah.
Yep, we got some stuff coming up. The podcast is going to be busy here too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing this on Thursday, and then we've got Burgett coming in town, so that's tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
For those that don't know that, I mean, come on, who wouldn't know? But the guy that sings our opener,
Yep, that's
I
our
mean,
intro music, Eric Burgett.
he's an up-and-coming artist.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be fun.
He'll
Have
be
him in
here
town.
live.
He's got a concert in Omaha, downtown Omaha, on Saturday.
He's playing with Joe Nichols.
Yeah, I think that's right.
What did we say his most famous song is?
Kiss my glass. I hope she's happy with him. Right? That guy.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Here's to the she can kiss my instead of ass. They say
Oh.
glass. Yeah.
There's got, I mean, whenever it plays,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no way, that's his song?
That's Joe Nichols.
He has more than just that one, though.
He does.
He's old school country.
He
right?
is. I'm
I think-
excited, yeah.
I think his last big one was Yes. Or,
She said yes.
well, I forget the name of it, but he agrees with every little thing. Like it's taking a scenario where he meets a girl at a party and, she's like, hey, you want to try this wine cooler? He's like, oh, all right, yeah. And everything he asks, his answer is yes.
He actually
Okay.
does have some more modern stuff. I was just looking
Yeah.
here, but old school is that tequila makes your clothes fall
Oh,
off.
yes. I think that's probably got to be very true for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
I mean, not me, but
Not me, but yeah, tequila does that to others.
right.
Let's see.
Are
He's got some other stuff that's actually a whole lot newer.
So we need to start
that I
pumping
didn't
his
realize.
tunes.
Let's see. Is that him?
Yeah. I know this one.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, he's got some modern stuff too.
All right.
Should be a fun concert.
Yeah, I think so.
So Burgett's in town. We're going to record with him tomorrow.
That'll probably come out in a couple weeks or a week after. Who knows?
Something like that. And then something we're going to kind of be kicking off that I'm really excited about. This weekend, we're going to be interviewing a police officer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we've got a couple of topics to talk about with him that I think are going to be a lot of fun, very eye-opening.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that as well.
It is. It's kind of a stance that I always find myself on the other side of, like, just going back to, like, the sports world. I like talking to officials, umpires, and hearing their side of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still a story you don't hear. Like, all the national talk shows and this and that are just throwing shade at the officials or the umpires, and then you don't hear their perspective or their side of it, because there is. So I feel like this is kind of like that. We're going to actually hear a police officer's
It's going to be
point
good,
of view.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's that whole, humanizing the badge thing. You know, people just kind of look at these guys and ladies as like like robots. You know, they're just out there, they're doing this job, blah blah blah. But no, they're real people, and we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about school resource officers and things like that. So it's gonna be fun, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
So what you got over there? Oh, that's what you got.
Now this is almost sold out.
What is it?
This is a hot.
A Bud Light?
Nah.
It's not sold out.
Yeah, that's kind of the opposite there.
I know.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Okay, all right.
This is the new pickle beer from the Nebraska Brewing Company
Pickle.
called Pickle Fight.
Does it taste like a pickle?
I don't know. This is my first one right here.
Sounds like
Did I just send it to you?
sounds kinda
Or you
fun.
went and got some?
Went and picked up at the brewery the other day because, they sponsor the sports betting podcast.
Right.
So we always feature a beer. And I'll tell you what, the one that we've been featuring last month or so, they're having a tough time keeping that on the shelves, the Ale Storm, their summer baseball beer. So
Okay.
Paul, the founder, is like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, dude, you're getting the WTL bump. You're getting the
you
Andy
go,
bump
right,
here.
yeah.
Duh. Hello.
You
I
left
love
one.
this. Try that.
You left one in the fridge, and I drank it.
You turn
the
your
pickle
tab?
beer?
No, the
The Ale Storm, yeah. Not bad, huh?
Yeah, it's good.
Holy cow, that is salty as heck.
Is it?
Yes, and I like salt.
Let me see.
You turn your tab to the right. I always turn mine to the left.
Dude, it smells like
A pickle.
like something I'd marinate my steak in or
Tastes,
something.
it's literally like pickle juice.
I think a Bloody Mary when I
Okay.
drink it.
But I don't know if I could.
I think a Bloody Mary, man.
Dude, that's pretty good.
I love it.
That's got that definitely has that pickle
Yeah.
flavor, but there's a beer flavor there too.
You know what that would be good at when we run the races? Like we do the. And then they always say to drink like pickle juice. You can have that
There
instead.
you go.
Because you need to
Yeah.
give yourself
So it's a
the
workout beer now.
sodium.
There we
Yes.
go. Yeah.
Just saying. Come
It's a
on.
workout
That's
beer.
hilarious.
Okay.
But yeah, this was such a hit. A few grocery stores have already sold out. There's still a few out there in the Omaha greater metro area around Plattsmouth here, but for the most part, you're going to have to go to the brewery or get lucky and find one of those grocery stores, liquor stores that still has some on the shelf.
It's unique for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of them, though, real quick, can you order their alcohol online? Is that a thing?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I know that's
yeah.
probably always hard, like distribution stuff, but I just didn't know if that's
Yeah.
they're
And-
set up like that.
Yeah, Nebraska's kind of has more rules and regulations than a lot of other states, so you got
Okay.
to go through a distributor.
All right.
Is
Gotcha.
the key. So,
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, what do you got for us, mister?
So what we've got is just a quick little episode. Obviously, we don't have a interview today, but taking a little common sense, common folk look at AI, artificial intelligence. This is just going to be like the tip of the iceberg. I feel like we're going to talk about a couple of different things that us, along with probably a lot of people listening, have heard and
Right.
are wondering about. We're not getting into the weeds as far as like, here's what this really is and, all these kinds of things. And I
Yeah.
think that's something for down the road that I definitely want to. I want to learn more about it.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I feel like in the last couple of weeks, it's really ramped up and I'm hearing all kinds of things about it. So I did a little digging myself. Shared a couple of things with you guys to listen to just kind of get, some perspective.
Yeah.
And I want to talk to folks about it. Like, what is this? What are we looking at?
Yeah. So, and I think the big thing that sparked a lot of this conversation is the quote unquote godfather of AI who worked for Google, recently retired, and he has some regrets, and he wanted to air out that laundry. So he's gone on kind of a interview circuit, and he's just kind of gone down the road of, well, I wish we wouldn't have done this. I wish we could have pumped the brakes on that. Some of the mistakes that they made. And I think that's maybe where you might have saw it too.
Yeah, that was definitely something that I had heard, amongst all kinds of other things that have been going on. But if we start there, so that particular individual, as they've said, maybe is, maybe isn't, but I don't see any reason why they'd lie about it, that the guy is like the original brain behind AI. And I'm not going to have any good specifics for you here, but basically the story is the guy had some interest in it, thought there was something that could be done with AI, worked with some different people. Early on, these other people figured out, or at least they thought they figured out, that this isn't going to work the way this guy wants it to work. It needs to be something really basic, It's going to be almost like a calculator, like yes and no questions. Like this is programmed in, there's a formula, it can answer this, it can answer that based on what it's been told. And that's that. And this particular guy was like, no, I know there's a better way to do this, or there's a more
efficient way.
Accurate?
Yeah, and I don't know if we'd call it better.
Mimicking learning, basically.
Yeah.
Figuring it out.
There's a way we can make this more like the human brain, is what this guy was saying. And that we need to create this neural network. This thing needs to be able to think and learn and respond and all these kinds of things. And all these people told him he was crazy. They were like,
And this
nope.
was years ago. He just been doing this for a long time.
This was a long time ago.
This didn't happen overnight.
Yeah, late 80s,
Okay,
90s.
Yeah,
all this
and-
stuff he's learning.
And from what I had found, the field of AI was created as something official in the late 50s. So that's when they started working on it. But then this dude, I think it was in probably the 80s, decided to kind of take it to the next level.
Right.
Was the deal. So him and another individual started figuring out how to program these things. And then that started taking off, and then they started getting attention from some of the big, tech companies, and then he got hired, and then now we're kind of getting to where we are today.
But you say program these things. What are these things?
Well, it's just computers.
It's literally a computer that has a microphone and they're talking to it.
Well, it's not just that. It's programming information into it.
They're inputting it.
Yeah, with a keyboard or whatever else.
Okay.
Yeah, they're putting information into this database or whatever that this device can pull from, can reference. It's just, again, it's kind of like on a smaller scale, like I said, a calculator. If you put in 2 times 2 in a calculator, it has something that it references that says, okay, I understand these buttons that just got pushed, and here's what I spit out.
Yeah, and what he was able to do, I believe, him and his team, when they had the bidding war between Google, Microsoft, and other companies that wanted this AI technology that he was on the cusp of creating, it was more than just collecting data and then being able to pull it up. It took all the data that they're putting in, and then also being able to take other pieces of data and come up with answers.
Yes.
Form their, not own opinions, but formulate what probably is going to be an outcome.
Right.
And there you go. That's artificial intelligence.
One of the, if you think about it, it feels like it's kind of basic, but it's actually really important. One of the first things that they did was they trained this machine how to identify cats.
Yeah. Yep.
So they just fed it. So what, if you rewind a little bit, what they were trying to do is they were trying to think, okay, how do humans learn? So if you think about it, you got a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, whatever it is, and all the different things that you're doing with that kid. So let's just say, you're sitting there talking to him, every now and then you're like, what does a cow say?
Yeah,
Or what does a cat say? Or you hold up a picture, what is this? Like you're teaching them.
Yeah.
That's the approach that they took with this system. So they fed it a ton of images of cats and let it identify all the little specifics. So it's looking at things like
Whiskers,
the
hair,
shape of the head. Yeah, yes, it has whiskers or it doesn't. Or
Typical length, what they could be looking for, colors.
Exactly, like all these kinds of things. So it's picking up on all these kinds of things. And then they said, all right. And then they fed it a bunch of other stuff and said, well, what do we have out here? And then it was able to say, oh, there's the cat over there. So that seems like something that's really basic. But in reality, it's not basic because they're teaching a machine to
think
to
figure it
do
out.
on
the
its
same
own.
thing. Yeah, that we're teaching, that we teach human kids to do.
Well, and one of the kind of funny things with that, or I find it, maybe funny is not the word, but ironic is, when you're trying to log in and there's all this two-way verification and all this crap, and you get this grid of pictures.
Yes.
It says, yeah, what I'm talking about.
God.
Click on the pictures that show a stop sign. Okay, so I'm supposed to say what's real, but artificial intelligence made that for me. Think about that.
Yeah.
Something that's artificial is asking me what's real now, in order for me to get to my information. Just in that regard alone, the script has already been flipped. In order for me to get to my real information, something that we created that's artificial is making me tell it what's real.
And when you think about it like that, I mean, what kind of viability does that test even have? Because the whole point of that test is that, hey,
to prove that I'm a person.
Bot, doesn't know, like, because the picture pops up.
Because the bot made it.
Yeah, we had to put that technology into the Farm Focus website because we recently got smacked with a phishing scam where someone came in and tried to test a bunch of people's credit cards to buy like a bunch of gift cards
thousands.
and whatever. Yeah, all these kinds of things. So we had to put in a level of security that is that the system you're talking about. It's called reCAPTCHA, where those things will pop up. So now when people buy things on our website, there's a good chance they're going to see that. And it says something like, click on every square that has a bicycle in it, or something like that.
Or crosswalk.
Yeah, whatever.
And don't you feel like a dumbass when you get that wrong? Have you ever gotten it wrong? I have. It's like a stupid, where's the stairs? Okay, well, I thought I saw them in the distance. And then they give you another one. Have you ever gotten
one? I've gotten multiple. I don't know.
Do you not feel like a dummy?
I don't know if that means
saying.
you've got it wrong or if it wants to test multiple times.
I don't know
really know
either.
how
I'm always
works,
like, I swear I got that right.
Yeah.
I hate the crosswalk one because, like, well, I think there should be a crosswalk there, or maybe there should be, and it's not painted. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. But
Sorry.
Either way, there's that. But what my point is that, early on, these guys taught a computer how to recognize a cat. So how could the computer not recognize every single square that there's a bicycle in?
Right.
Like, it still can hack websites. It still can do that stuff. Like, that's all a bunch of BS, based on what we're seeing here.
Right.
But anyway, that's the point of that.
Makes me feel good, though.
Yeah, right. Makes everybody feel good.
Yeah, real good.
So, with the cat thing and what they have going on, this is, this is just a recognition software.
Right.
And you can think about all the different things that has been employed in our life. I mean, it's all over the place.
It is. Years ago, long time ago, we started seeing spray technology on sprayers that could pick out weeds, and you could program it. You could tell the sprayer, and also have the tractor and sprayer drive itself with robots too, using GPS technology. But it would pick out, rather than just doing a broadcast spray and waste a bunch of spray over the entire field, it could pinpoint with little cameras different weeds and just spray those weeds.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about saving like 90% of product.
Just today, maybe yesterday, one of the two, our buddy the Millennial Farmer is out testing one of those things.
There you go.
He's
never
doing
heard
it
of that.
right now.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I did a news story over that. And I think the guys that really made it go took it and ran with it. I think they're out of like Grand Island, Nebraska. Their company.
Yeah.
So
the point
Wow.
is that it's being used. There's a lot of good that it's being used for. I mean, that's good. If we can save even 50% of the pesticides or the herbicides that we're spraying down, awesome.
Well,
Like that's better for everybody.
Of course it is. Not only the runoff and killing the planet, all those worries, of polluting the planet, but we hear about how all these natural resources are more and more scarce, and how we're so tied to Russia to get this and that as far as inputs go. Well, if we're using 90% less due to this AI technology, well, that's a really good thing, isn't it?
But see, my brain goes to the bad stuff when it's like when you talk about AI.
That's where the problem is.
Yeah. Instead of the good. So I'm glad you pointed that out. But don't you think there's probably a lot more bad, which is what this guy was talking about?
Yeah, and I think I don't know about a lot more. I think that's the story with about anything.
Okay.
Things get invented and designed with good intentions in mind in the beginning, and then someone figures out, oh, how can we weaponize this? How can we use this for evil or whatever? And then that's where things start.
Well, and the quote unquote godfather of AI, I mean, right away, I think a couple years in, Google was cutting deals with the U.S. military. He's like, whoa, this isn't what I created this for. So he actually had a meeting with those higher ups and kind of pulled the plug on that. But before that was even finalized, the U.S. military is like, all right, fine, we'll go get AI over here. So, it's something like Pandora's box, or letting the genie out of the bottle, is kind of what it's being compared to. And I agree with it. It's going to happen. And this is where I kind of agree with Elon Musk. One of his doomsday is I hope the robots are nice and take care of us rather than go the other way. And
Yeah.
I think that's where we're at. I really do.
And I think that's the difference to understand is, what Morgan talked about. There's a negative side of things, and what happens is human beings take things and they figure out how to use them for evil.
Mm-hmm.
The problem here is that this particular technology doesn't even require a human being to want to use it for evil. The way that it's growing and what is happening with it, and this particular guy points it out, you get to what they're calling singularity, and I don't know if you've looked up anything on that or heard anything about that, but essentially what that means is that these machines don't need anybody anymore.
No, they're autonomous.
Not only autonomous, they're just they continually grow and learn and get
On their own?
bigger and smarter and more effective. Yes, on their own.
Right.
That's the way that they're programmed. So this guy, one of the things that particular individual was talking about was the fact that these things are all connected. Mm-hmm. So you could have one doing something right here in rural Nebraska, spraying weeds and identifying that. And if it's connected to the network, then it's feeding data that one in New York City, where there's no farm ground, has access to that data and learns from it and figures out how to use that for something it might want to use it for.
Sure.
So there could potentially be some efficiencies there, but the point is that every single thing these things do has the ability to train and influence other ones, and they're all growing at a massively rapid rate.
Right, at an exponential rate that, I feel like the guys that were creating it knew it could happen, but they thought, I probably won't learn it that fast.
Yeah.
But it is, and I think the big play there is kind of they're figuring out where it's at as power. So, and there is no remorse, there is no moral compass to AI. So if a good power play would be, to, whatever, start working with agricultural bots to stop allowing this to happen or that to happen. And they don't need, like you're saying, a human to say, that's okay, go ahead and do it, or don't do it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So where humans might step in and do something evil, it's actually out of our hands.
Right.
And let's see here. I looked up an article from June 3rd, 2021, and this is from livescience.com, and this is where a Turkish drone actually hunted down some military combatants and killed them, and nobody knew anything about it. Like, the Turks just built this drone, sent it up there, told it what to do, and with like what you're talking about, recognition and all that stuff.
They just did it.
It recognized that, okay, this is the adversary. Let's do a missile strike. That's what we're here to do. Mm-hmm. It did. It killed these guys. And everyone's like, whoa, what just happened? The United States, the UN's like, all right, who authorized that strike? Who's in charge of killing these people? And everyone's like, I don't know. Well, Turks, one of your drones were shot down. Did you guys do this? Like, well, yes and no. We put those drones out there, but we didn't tell it to do that. It did that on its own. It actually learned on its own, doing its own thing. And this was, I think 2020 is when this actually happened. Yeah, March of 2020.
This sounds like a freaking movie.
That's the thing. The more you talk about it,
I know, but it's scary.
Sounds like a movie.
Like, it really reminds me of iRobot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with Will Smith.
There's
How
so
many movies?
There's so many movies.
So many.
And that was one of the things that I wanted to talk about in this podcast, because we do talk about movies, we talk about entertainment and things like that. What are the movies? So I was talking to a couple of my buddies about this stuff the other day, and I was like, it's so crazy to me that Hollywood predicted this. Mm-hmm. How long ago?
Well, yeah, Skynet, right? 1989, Terminator 2.
There you go. When you think about some of these old movies that they were doing all this stuff, and there's movies before that too.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Definitely in the 80s, probably back to the 60s and 70s. So what do we got? Terminator's 100%.
Right.
That's going down that road, 100%.
That's the Skynet is that network of robots talking to each other, and then those robots being like, wait a second, this would be way more efficient if we just got rid of humans. Mm-hmm. Like, if we just got rid of...
I feel like there's so many. Yeah, there's so many movies, but I'm not...
It's the same with iRobot that you're saying. Like, they figured out, like, well, we could take care of the humans, actually do better by them if we just take all their decision making away from them.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, you take a movie like iRobot. In that one, the bots are programmed with specific rules to follow. Mm-hmm. That was kind of the premise of that movie. Mm-hmm. Well, one of those rules was something along the lines of protecting human life or something like that.
Right.
And then the robots decided, oh, well, these people are just crazy. All they do is kill each other and create, wars and so on and so forth. So in order to protect them, we need to control them.
Yeah.
So like their logic
It's sound.
made sense.
It's good logic.
Based on what they were programmed to
Jeez.
do.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. Oh no, we're only a half step away from all this. We better just hope that the robots still think that it's okay that we're around. I mean, as weird as that
100%.
sounds.
And here's the thing, man. Everything is so connected.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other one? Can you think of any
I
other
keep thinking
movies?
of Tron, but that's kind of not.
No, that one.
That's more futuristic.
I think so. Yeah. What was Eagle Eye with
Ooh, I don't know.
Shia LaBeouf.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know.
So Eagle Eye was like a program. It was like a government computer program that basically had access to every single piece of communication in the world that was on the net. So it could look at every single camera. Like it could look at your computer right now if your computer has a camera on it,
Right.
if you're connected to the internet.
Yep.
It can listen to your phone. It could do all the kinds of things, and it collected everything it needed to collect and helped make decisions and so on and so forth. But same kind of thing where it decided, hey, you people are just bad. You just wreck yourselves. But the point is, what I was getting at is the internet and everything, how everything is connected. These computers can literally, if they want to, see and have access to anything.
Right. And that's where this next step, and I think where the Google dude, the Godfather.
Do we have a name for him? Does that matter?
I'd have to.
What was
look
his
it up
name?
here.
In case someone wanted to Google him.
But he's saying that look, they're going to come to the realization that the next step is not deciding, is that an insurgent? Is that a bad guy or a good guy? Should I bomb it? It's the power play. You'll have the ultimate ability to do what's right, wrong, or achieve the mission, we'll say.
Okay.
If they just go ahead and take control. And there's going to be a tipping point where, the agricultural bots are talking to the military bots are talking to the food supply bots, the ones in charge of the food chain. And it's already all online. It's already computerized. Every train that's moving coal or whatever, energy, it's all accessible. And all these networks can talk to each other.
100%. And to your point, I've got something on that as well, but real quick, Morgan was asking about the guy. His name is Jeffrey with a G, Geoffrey, Hinton, Hinton.
Okay.
What I was getting at is you go back to things like vehicles as an example. You're talking about agriculture. And this is all doomsday stuff that we're talking about. But the thing is that it's possible.
Right.
It's 100% possible. We're not just making stuff up. This isn't conspiracy theory.
No, I'm reading these articles word for word.
I can tell you with 100% certainty that the modern farm equipment that we have out in the fields right now can be shut off right now by somebody remote.
Well, that's what I was thinking. So when's all this going to get shut down?
But this is what I'm saying is that because there's that level of access, and it's the same thing with vehicles. Like you drive a GM vehicle and you have OnStar. OnStar can shut your vehicle off
Or open the doors if you're in a crash.
Right. I mean, and that happens with lots of different manufacturers. Yeah. But it's the same thing with this agricultural equipment. If somebody decided, and yes, it would be illegal, but at that point, what does it matter? To go in and shut off every piece of modern farm equipment out in the field today. We're 3/4 of the way through planting right now, maybe. And they just decided, nope, we're going to shut them off, and you're not going to get to plant your fields. Yeah. That literally can be done.
Well, yeah, you could have a bot decide and convince the other bots, if you will, that, look, they already have more food that they need, so they need to stop wasting their time producing more food, not understanding that I'm a farmer and I need to get this, put in.
Yeah.
But the bot's thinking, a step ahead. No, we're going to get more efficient with the food, and we're not going to let it spoil on the shelves or on its way to the supermarket. We already figured that out too. You can start putting together these scenarios where the logic is sound, the robots are right,
Right.
and the geeks were right about the robots. So
Yeah.
But I do try to take a more optimistic view of it, and I think that's what like Elon Musk is trying to do. Is like, look, I think this is going to be for the good, in the long run, or hopefully it will be, because it's already running down this path at just super speeds, and it makes you think like, what is it going to look like in 5 years, in 10 years, just where. Like we talk about kids nowadays, they actually watch video games being played. They don't play the video games; they watch the video games being played. And when we were talking about artificial intelligence, even 5 years ago, it was just a movie.
Totally.
And now
it's real life.
No. Have you guys ever watched the Netflix series Death, Love, and Robots?
No.
It's all animated. I love it, but there's a lot of doomsday scenarios in it. And they're kind of funny.
It's like has episodes, it's series?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of them have to do with, obviously, robots and, kind of a doomsday type scenario.
Huh.
But they have a lot of really good takes. And this whole conversation reminds me a lot of that that series.
There's no doubt that there's a lot of positive ways that this can be used. There's no doubt about that. In ways that we should use it. Like we talked about with the efficiencies of sprays and, so on. I mean, that's just one of hundreds.
Yeah. Stopping scammers online.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just that where there's no end to it, and it's I don't see any way around the fact that it's not going to get crazy. A couple of other things. With AI, they're doing a lot of crazy stuff with AI. So as an example, AI now is able to impersonate anybody.
Deep fakes.
If anybody has any level of recordings on the internet, so like let's take us as an example. We're here. One of the things I wanted to do for this podcast was try to find something, and this will be for the next one that we do, that will create for us and record just maybe 5 minutes.
I don't think I want to hear that.
Someone
talk like me?
The thing is that
Freak
what these things can do now, because this is all just digital information,
right,
is that they can 100% talk like you. So
I don't like that.
They can 100% impersonate you to figure out, oh, this is how she thinks. This is how she responds to things. This is her mannerisms, this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So if you think about that, how that could be used to fake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you said, that deep fake or whatever, right?
Swing elections, all that kind of crazy stuff. So we're 61 episodes in. We have more than enough of our voices being used in an array of ways. Me using a funny voice or whatever, So, and the one that got a lot of attention was a completely fake podcast with Joe Rogan and Steve Jobs. And it was all just completely created with their voices, and you could tell there's like a few awkward pauses and a few fluctuations here and there, but all in all, if you didn't know any better,
you heard it. It was good.
I listened to a little bit of it.
Okay.
But it was.
They would be able to catch have a head cold today and sound a little nasally.
I don't know if it's that advanced yet,
Okay.
but
I don't see why it couldn't, because
as far as the
it's
conversation goes,
it's all literally digital info. Like once you're recorded. Like when we're speaking into this mic right now, it's going into this device, and it's all just digital data.
Yeah.
It can 100% be replicated.
Have you seen that image of Joe Biden where his tongue slips out of, like, he looks like a snake?
Oh, no.
I mean, it's funny, but it's also very scary. It's like, oh man, because it just looks so seamless that he's a reptilian, lizard person that lives under Antarctica, and he's ruling the free world now. You
know what I heard? The first thing was when we were talking about AI was, I don't know if it was TikTok or Instagram, where they, would call, let's say, my mom, and it would be me, like, taking somewhere. You know what I mean? Like I need help, send money to whatever. So they're getting people freaked out. And so then it would be like, if you know what I mean? Like,
if there's a voice recognition and
Yeah,
AI's like, well, we got our voice. This isn't a problem.
yeah, like I'm, kidnapped or something, and that's freaky,
Mm-hmm.
So the point of that is obviously it can be used for a lot of different things, and the fact that technology is out there, and before long it's going to be easily accessible to anybody. Case in point, what you talked about there, Andy. They did the podcast, so they made a fake podcast. That sounds like these two guys.
Yep.
One of the other big ones, if people have or have not listened to it, is this dude created a song that was by Drake. Have you heard that?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it, but I heard about it. Okay.
I think it was Drake and The Weeknd, maybe. But I listened to it the other day. I think it was on NPR or something. It was on some story I was listening to. And it sounds just like them.
Yeah.
And this particular computer system, had went back and analyzed all their songs and figured out the different things that they typically sing about, how they do it, all these kinds of things, and created a whole new song from scratch.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a new song. They didn't even
Yeah.
dub a song.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Whole new one from scratch that anybody who follows these guys would listen to and go, oh yeah, that's them. Of course, that's his style. That would be something he would sing about or rap about or whatever. And it actually sounds pretty dang good.
Yeah. And so the first scare is that, well, the music industry's over. And it's like, well, no, the way it's set up right now, Drake is going to make basically free money off of that because that's his intellectual property still.
Oh.
But so now everyone's like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. Well, no, it's not cool because now Drake's not doing anything and he's getting more of a stranglehold on the industry. You know what I mean? Like,
And
there's so
literally,
many
what's to
fallout
say
things.
that he actually gets anything from that? Like, why? That's the problem.
He
like,
is making money off that. I did see that.
The legalities are not defined yet. You know
No.
what I mean?
Yep.
Like, someone can go create that, and they can say, "Oh yeah, it sounds like him," but I'm not trying to be him. It just sounds like him.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm trying to look up this. I watched this story, and it was an Instagram model. And she would, like all these Instagram influencers, just gorgeous, just beautiful. And she'd take pictures with this celebrity at this beach. And then she'd be in Maui with the Kardashians or whatever. And she was fairly big. And then finally she was outed, I don't know, a few months ago, a year ago, somewhere around that, like that. But she was just a total deep fake. This person didn't exist. It was just a digital image made by AI. And then when she was outed, people were like, oh, that's pretty cool, and followed her even more. Like, she has even more followers
Wasn't even
now.
a real person.
And she's not a real person at all. And she travels the world and drinks champagne and takes pictures in her bikini. I'm trying to look
But
her
she's
up.
a fake person.
Totally fake. And she's more popular now than ever.
That is just like mind-boggling to me. Just
It's so crazy, man.
absolutely
it's like,
crazy.
It's getting to the point where how do you trust anything? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be some crazy person here saying all this
Conspiracy
stuff, but
theorist,
like, how do you even trust anything you're hearing
Right.
when it can be faked so well?
Yeah. Do you guys feel like this is like kind of like an awakening moment for just the human race? Like, okay, we are in a simulation. Like, I wasn't going to go
Yeah,
there, but like we're in
right.
a simulation theory. Like, we've gotten to the point now. It's like, all right, now that we can recognize that everything actually is fake.
It's hard to argue with.
Like even Neil Tyson digress. That guy.
Yeah.
He's like, well, we're 50% chance, half and half. We are in base model, meaning we're actually in the reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like that's one of the most optimistic views from those type
Yeah.
of people.
It's wild, dude.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
wild.
It is.
And it has so many implications. We're going to be coming up on an election season pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
We're coming out of, at least in my lifetime, or at least when I paid attention, one of the craziest ones we've ever seen last time.
Oh my gosh, yes.
With all the claims of fraud and this and that and all these kinds of things. I mean, you can see now that these machines can be used for so much of this stuff. Like they could literally use one of these machines based on all this technology and make it pretend like it's our president speaking.
Oh yeah,
You know
put
what I
them in
mean?
that-
They probably are already doing that.
There's a good chance, but I'm just saying, like, this is the stuff out there.
So I found the supermodels, Sudhu and Leah McKillia, and here's the picture of the one that I was thinking of. I'll show you guys real quick here. But she has over 2 million, nearly 3 million followers.
Jeez.
And that's not even a real person.
Not even a real person. And when she was outed and they figured it out, more people flocked to her.
The people that created that are just laughing all the way to the bank.
And it's saying making a virtual fortune. No, that fortune is going somewhere. Like who's getting that money?
Yeah.
So the last thing that I had here that I wanted to talk about, because I feel like it's been pretty hot, is this this program called ChatGPT. And I don't know exactly how this thing works, but I played around with it a little bit today. So you log in. I can't remember who.
It's just chatgbt.com or something.
GPT.
Oh,
OpenAI.
GPT, yeah. So OpenAI is the company behind it. So basically what they've done is kind of what we talked about. They programmed into this system years and years and years of information.
Yep.
And it's a lot like you brought up Morgan. It's a lot like Siri. Like you can ask it about any question you want, and it will give you some kind of answer if it's capable of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
What's also crazy, and I haven't tried this myself, but I've heard a lot of people like these different stories where they'll, let's just say as an example, there's a kid in college and has to write a paper on XYZ.
Right. Yeah.
They can go in ChatGPT and or whatever the programs are.
I think Elise talked about this. Our oldest.
She might have. I don't know. I didn't talk with her about it. But they can request the program to essentially write the paper for them.
I
Yeah.
think I've heard this.
Yeah. I've actually had it do this for me.
Okay.
Oh, so you cheated.
No, it didn't do it. It didn't do it good enough.
Oh. So you,
I wanted to just for the sports betting thing. I just wanted to do quick predictions, and so I just copied and pasted a guy's predictions, a guy I like to listen to or whatever, an article, and I give it to ChatGPT and said rewrite this with a humorous slant to it, and it corrected me and respelled humorous and said in a joking manner. Yes, in a joking manner, and the jokes were terrible. It reiterated information it didn't need to. So this is only the 4th generation, and they had a lot of problems the first 5 days when they launched this. It was too good because it was getting crazy questions. Like the biggest one that they had to really dial back was a guy asked it, "Give me the world's most vulnerable banks and multiple ways how to hack them." And it did. It gives us the guy all the information, and like you said, all that stuff's connected.
Yep.
So it just gave it to him. You know what I mean? So it also broke records. When ChatGPT was launched, it had, I want to say 1 million subscribers within 5 days. That beat the hell out of Facebook when it launched. I mean, just everything. So your next generation, we're at 4 now. They really had to dial it back.
so they're making them stupider?
Well, they had to.
Okay.
And so now we have kind of a watered-down version, and there's a lot of safeguards as far as plagiarism go. And from what in my dumb little test with it, I couldn't even use it. I didn't even think about using it.
So that was one of the things I wanted to point out, and you're reiterating that. I didn't know that story until you just said it. I felt like in the interaction that I had with it today, it wasn't nearly what all the stuff I've been hearing on the media is.
Yep.
And that's what we do here at Common Folk. We're talking about the common sense. What is this?
Right,
We're
yeah.
not trying to get a bunch of clicks.
Yep.
So what I did was I went on there today and I started talking to it about podcasts.
Okay.
And I wanted it to tell me about our podcast.
Oh, okay.
Oh, dang.
And about podcasts in general and how do you do better and so on and so forth. So I logged in there and I just said, "Hey, do you listen to podcasts?" And it said, basically it said, "I'm AI and I don't have the capability to listen, but I do have information about them. What can I do for you?" And I said, "Have you ever heard of Common Folk?" And the first thing it said was, "I'm sorry, but as of my last knowledge update in September of 21, I don't have information specifically about the Common Folk podcast." So I continued to ask it a couple different questions to try to figure out what this September 21 thing was. And basically what it says is that it knows nothing that has happened after September of 2021.
Okay.
So we're almost 2 years after that right now.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot has happened in 2 years.
Yes, it has.
So if this thing truly doesn't have data that it can feed us and answer us that have to do with the last couple of years,
That's current.
that's a whole lot different than the way it's being built.
Right. That's interesting.
So I went on to, I was just trying to pick things out of it. And, I was like, well, hey, here's the name of the host. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I still don't know. And I said, can you review current ones? And it said, yeah, I can review them, but I only have data up to 21. And it was like, I have suggestions for you. And it suggested Rogan, the Daily Podcast, Stuff You Should Know, Radio Lab, Michelle Obama's podcast. And then I told it, I said, well, hey, I'm the guy who is a host on this podcast.
Okay.
And it was like, oh, I'm sorry for the confusion. It's great to meet you as the host.
Yeah.
And then it said, again, I don't have specific information about your podcast because of my update, but I'm here to help you. And I just said, I wanted to see if you could give me a review. And then it just said, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. There's no way for me to listen to it, and I don't have anything before September
Right.
21.
That's different.
A lot of fun reviews are, name the top 4 Super Bowl winners,
Yeah.
And so AI will put together, all right, well, 2003 New England Patriots, 1992 Washington Redskins, and it'll give you a list of reasons why. And then you'll just put that out on social media and let, Twitter fight about it. But I've seen things like that, which is more than enough information for it to derive from.
Yeah. So then what I got into, what I thought was interesting, is it basically asked about like what the theme of the podcast is. So it's asking me. So it's interesting because you're sitting here, and I'm an adult. Like, I'm not susceptible to this, or I guess I'm a grown adult or whatever. Probably a lot of adults are, but we're having this conversation, and it's asking me questions.
Yeah.
I'm asking it questions, and so on and so forth.
It's actively getting the information it needs or wants.
It's showing its interest in me, which a lot of people are going to be susceptible about. I mean, imagine like a different type of conversation than just
Sure.
this,
Well, that was a Joaquin Phoenix movie a few years ago where he falls in love with his AI bot.
Okay, there you go.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is that the road you're going down
Yes,
here?
that's
Well,
what I
yeah.
was
I mean,
thinking.
that's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that people can be very susceptible to this. But basically, it's it says something to me about what's the theme of your podcast, and what do you guys like? What are you trying to do? Because I asked it. I said, I was thinking about maybe asking for some topic suggestions. So I just told it. I said, hey, the theme is that we're Midwest, common sense ideas. We talk about a lot of things with the perspective from a Midwesterner, common sense spin on things, blah, blah, blah. And it said, that's a fantastic theme. Here are some topic ideas that align.
Yeah.
So listen to this. Here's some topic things that align. So community and connection. Discuss the importance of community engagement, local initiatives.
There we go.
Practical tips for everyday life. Midwest values in modern society. Agriculture and farming. Small business success stories.
Ooh.
Outdoor activities and recreation.
Okay.
Midwest culture and traditions.
Well, we've had a lot of those.
Like, yeah, could that literally be any
know.
more than what we've... So the...
And that was limited information you gave it, too.
Yes. So
How quick were his response? Her, she, he, me. I don't even know.
it's
What do you
almost
call
immediate.
it? It is
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
quick. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you see like the typing bubbles too?
Maybe. I think something like that might have popped up.
I mean, what do you call an AI? An it?
That's
It's a
another
thing?
warning out there. It's like, you better be nice to AI because robots have a fantastic memory. And so, like, I don't want them to come back at me if I was rude.
I mean, I just
or
don't
mean.
know if it's a he or she. So
Well, maybe ask.
So the point is for me on this thing is that it was nowhere near as like nefarious as the stories that I've been hearing.
Sure.
It all worked fine, and actually to a point where I went on to ask it about Farm Focused because I thought to myself, well, Farm Focused has been around long before 2021.
Okay. Yeah.
And it didn't know what the hell was going on with that either. And it kept telling me, it hasn't been updated since 21
Yeah.
or whatever. So one of two things: either it doesn't have all the information, or Farm Focus is just so insignificant that it doesn't get it.
People aren't searching for Farm Focus.
But I went.
What's going on?
I went on to ask it about like social media and how we work with social media and so on and so forth. They gave me a bunch of different information, and I said, "Hey, look, what kind of suggestions would you give me to grow our social media following? Because Farm Focus is almost at 10,000. We can't get over that hump." Right. I even told it, and I'm typing all this stuff in like I'm talking to a regular person.
Sure.
I was like, I feel like Instagram's holding us back. What do you think? Like, guys, I want to see what this thing had to say.
Yeah.
And it gave me all these suggestions on what we should do to grow the following. And there was a couple of them that I was like, that's a really good idea.
Damn, Chad.
So I'm going to do it.
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
you should be. Yeah.
So I think this is the point that I'm trying to make about this is that, like, there is some good in this. You know what I mean?
My brother-in-law has used ChatGPT for his job at work ever since it came out. And it helps him with data sheets and things of that nature. And all it does is just all the mundane, boring, stupid work that, a human could easily screw up on. Typing a number wrong into a spreadsheet, ChatGPT nails it for him.
Yeah.
Faster, more efficient, less errors.
Is it free?
The version that he's using, I bet is.
Yeah, and there is upgraded versions, yeah.
So maybe they're smarter then.
There was a second thing that I saw, which would be useful for us as well, where it will create imagery. So you can go in there and you just type in a couple of words. So, and I tried it, but I found out that you have to pay for this part.
Right.
But I typed in like Midwestern evening farm scene. And I wanted to see like how cool is it going to be, whatever. Maybe we'll create a new T-shirt design.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it told me I needed to buy some credits. So this is how they're making some money
in
order for it to do it. But there's going to be a lot of plagiarism with that as well.
Of
and
course.
what it's doing with paintings and pictures.
Yep.
Our graphic designer, Sarah, has been playing around with some of it, and she's been sending me some pictures over text, some screenshots, where she's having it create like different imagery for and stuff like that. Like I said, that could be T-shirt prints, and some of it looks pretty decent. Some of it looks dumb as shit, but some of it is pretty good.
I saw a pretty funny one. It was like a recreation of Star Wars at the Last Supper. And I mean, it's kind of funny, right? But like they don't quite get it all right, where you'll have Chewbacca's head twice.
Oh,
geez. There's only one Chewbacca.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
she had one. She had one done that was like, it was for stock and rod, so it was like this outdoor scene with a moose in it or something like that. Mm-hmm. And the moose had like 8 legs, and a couple of different pairs of antlers.
Right, exactly.
And we were like, well, that's not going to work. Why did it think that was okay?
and that was supposed to be another big cash grab. Was people selling AI art, and that didn't go over. That didn't turn into a thing that they thought it would either.
It just makes me think, down the road, again, like, how do you know what you're hearing is actual, genuine, true, and how do you know what you're seeing and buying and looking at? Again, like, if we have a T-shirt design that an AI program created in 10 seconds, and we have a T-shirt design that our graphic designer, who went to school for this and does this every day and does all this work and spent 8 hours creating, which one's worth more? Like, is there just like is there a little bit of value behind the scenes of like, I know this person worked hard on this, and so
I'm thinking we're paying this person and they spent 30 seconds to steal the photo, or they spent 8 hours. I don't want to pay them 8 hours.
That's the thing.
That's BS.
But that's the
thing. Just saying.
And
don't tell my brother-in-law his employer.
And the point is where's the value?
I don't know.
Is the value in that image itself and how you like what you like the way it looks and so on and so forth?
Yeah.
Or is the value in the backstory
of the hard work?
This particular person did this and put this effort in. And same thing with the music. We talk about the Drake thing, and it creates this song, and is the value in that, this sounds like a cool song, blah, blah, blah? Or is the value in the fact that the guy, the actual artist, sat down for hours and wrote this, and made something? This is what people are going to have to start asking themselves. With
but then again, how do you know?
How do you know?
Yeah.
I'm gonna one more scenario here when we're talking about artificial intelligence and simulation, and you talked about this thought just totally sent me down this path. You talked about a moose with like 8 legs.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take something a little more obscure that we don't really pay attention to a lot. And you ask AI to make this image, and it makes it, and it takes off. Let's say a cat with 2 tails or something. That's not obscure, but just for this argument. And AI starts seeing that, okay, this is taking off. This is what people recognize. This is what people like. This is what people want on their T-shirts, their hats, and everything. But since this is all just a false reality, we'll call it, a simulation, what if they flip it over, a glitch in the matrix, we'll say, and now the reality is cats have 2 tails. You know what I mean? Like, because
Oh my God.
are you following me here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because this is just, you're talking about just networks talking to each other and figuring things out and just using the best logical sense here. And okay, I guess this is what the people want. This is what we'll give them. you know, like, is that what we're gonna? I don't know. Maybe it's already happening. I don't know. Maybe
Could be.
Maybe white-tailed deer were actually black-tailed deer a couple of years ago, and
People just like those little white tails. And
yeah.
It's all so freaky when you think about it and talk about it and try to put, I guess, words to, I mean, you described it well there, but yeah, what if the new reality is cats have 2 tails?
the whole thing, I mean, like you said, the whole thing's
Yeah,
crazy.
AI just created it. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know.
There's a level of sadness for me
Yeah.
in it, in what we talked about with like the graphic design and the, and the efforts that people have to put into things for their craft.
Yeah.
To really create something, and then a computer can just pump it out visually. It's as good, if not better, but it doesn't have the story.
Right. There's the human mind is obsolete, basically. The originality of what the humans can
And then,
provide.
don't you think then, as humans, we become more like Wall-E, a lot more lazy because we're just sitting around not really having to do anything? These
Sure.
computers are doing everything for us.
Possible.
So again, we're like this common folk, Midwest, work hard type of people. Then are we just sitting on our asses? And,
Well, I want to take it the other way. I think AI could easily go the opposite direction. So Wall-E, you're talking about a Disney movie there where we all went to space and robots were taking care of us. So
Yeah.
we got fat and happy, and the robots like, we just need to do everything for people so they don't have to do stuff. I think robots could actually take care of our stuff that keeps us tied to this computer, tied to the screen, and allows us to work out more, walk along the beach more, go hiking, go camping, do things like that. Like actually get us back in touch with nature. And the fact that AI is more logical and does understand things better, it might actually push us that way, and we might be a healthier human race here in just a few years because AI is going to say, like, you stupid humans, stop doing this crap to yourself. Get back outside.
let me do it for you.
Yeah, you guys go to
Okay.
the ocean and start swimming again. You guys are fat, lazy, and pathetic. Get back to being an animal, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that thought.
So
Okay.
and that's where I think being optimistic about it all. I think a lot of good things could come from all this.
Yeah, I like that.
I
Optimism.
definitely think there's a lot of good things that can come from it, and I also think that if the bad is inevitable, then I'm willing to forego all the good things. Like, just get rid of it. It's not worth what the good things are in terms of what this bad could turn into. But the cat's out of the bag. I mean, it's the Pandora's box.
Yep.
The box has been open.
I
Yep.
think you said earlier "Genie in a Bottle," and I was thinking of Christina Aguilera's song.
She didn't even make that song. No.
Sorry, that's all I could think about, and I sang it in my head for a second.
yeah.
I'm not going to be the only one thinking that when you said that earlier.
On that note,
that was a smash hit.
smash.
I'm a genie. I don't want to sing. I can't even
Rub
talk
me
today.
the right way.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
All right.
We can end it on that.
We're an hour in. I think I've had enough of this conversation. It's
Yeah.
going sideways.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's get it to the outdoors, right?
Very interesting, though, and definitely something that we are going to dig more into
Yeah.
once we get a little bit more information and actual experience with it. But
Yeah.
man, it better, if it's not on your radar, it better be. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Is because, man, I feel like it's of all the things that you hear about on the news and so on and so forth. If anything is truly a threat, this is top 3.
Yeah.
Whoa,
If
I
not
want
more.
to know the other two.
Well, like
I mean,
nuclear war.
Okay.
Yes, you have-
I'm
you
like,
have-
wait,
yeah.
where are we at here? Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And it might be number one, but
Yeah,
it's
I
just
think
it's a big damn deal.
Yeah, it is.
So pay attention, check it out. That's all I think. So
Yeah.
All right. Nice talking with you
I'm
guys.
gonna go get another pickle fight.
Oh gosh.
ooh, I might have. to
Oh,
have
are you
one of those.
done? Jeez. All right. Peace.
All right, cool. We're out.
Later.